everybody, to another episode of Entertainment Involved. This is an Involved review. I am here today with my good friend Brendon. Brendon, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going, man. And as I understand, today's the first day you've ever been on a podcast ever. But you were on two.
Yes.
So good shout out to my good friend Oz over at the Tavern Notice Board. You were on there earlier today.
Yes, sir.
You guys were talking a little D&D. Man, I cannot encourage anybody enough. If you like tabletop gaming, definitely check out that podcast. What did you guys kind of talk about? What's like the main topic?
Just a little bit of everything. How he has the little bit of rundown that he has. Favorite monsters, favorite kind of races to play with, favorite kind of villain. Class,
Yeah,
as he does, and it was so much fun.
I'm very glad to finally have you on here. We can prove to everyone live that we are not the same person.
Not the same person.
We don't even remotely look alike. No. I don't understand where it comes from at all from anyone.
No, we were two different people.
Yeah,
I'm me, he is him.
But we get mistaken for each other all the time.
All the time. It is very awkward.
So, I mean,
it's fine. I don't mind. If I were, I guess, to be someone that looks like him but just dead inside, that'd be fine.
So just me then. All right, I got it. Yeah. I don't think normal, sane, perfectly mentally stable people build a what was it? A friend of mine just a minute ago called it a nerd cave. And then film it for everybody and spend countless hours setting it all up. So, that being said, today we are here. The main event today is a little bit of Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 2. You came prepared with the shirt on.
I had to, as I'm a dork.
My shirt is a little bit of a spoiler for what I may or may not have in store on Monday. See, on Monday, coming up, we've got podcasts assembled. So we're going to have Ace from the Superhero Homies. We're going to have Lauren from Coffee and Lore. We're going to have Oz from the Tavern Notice Board. We're going to be reviewing the finale of The Last of Us, which comes on this Sunday. And it's going to be the first time that I've had more than two people here in the studio to record. So it's going to be interesting for me to figure out between now and then how to get 4 humans in here and on frame, but
yeah, I think you'd be able to do it. It should work out.
We'll fucking see. We'll find out on Monday.
That'd be interesting to check out.
We'll get it done. If not, I'll put somebody in the corner and we'll just put them on webcam and we'll splice them in later. All right, man. So we're talking Star Wars today. We're talking Mandalorian. What's kind of your history with Star Wars, man? Did you grow up with it as a kid, or?
I did. I grew up with it since as long as I can remember.
So the original trilogy, then?
Yeah. As far as I think, I want to say my first exposure to Star Wars was probably playing Shadows of the Empire.
Okay,
on N64.
Yeah,
and going through that game and just kind of learning the different characters from that game as well.
I remember playing the old TIE Fighter game.
Yes.
Like SNES, I think. And then I really didn't get into any of the Star Wars games, I don't think, until the Kyle Katarn stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jedi Academy, Jedi Knight.
Yeah, I love those games.
Yeah, I actually played through Jedi Knight not that long ago.
Really?
Yeah.
I somewhat recently downloaded on the Xbox, but I want to do another playthrough.
Yeah, I play the Galaxy Heroes game that's on cell phones. I don't recommend anyone play it. Me and Sean were on here talking about the other day. He got me into it. Don't start playing it. But Kyle Katarn is in that, and it was one of the people that I was cool. Leveling up, and I was like, oh god, I want to play this. So yeah, so yeah, that's what got me on that. And then when Knights of the Old Republic came out, that's when it was just like,
yeah,
okay, this is actually better than the damn movies at this point.
Well, confession,
haven't played it. That's okay.
No, not yet. I started to, but I a while back, but never really got too much through it. I have it. I even have 2, but I do not have not played through it.
They're both tremendous.
Shamefully.
The first one is the first one is like a gold standard. Like, this is one of the greatest games of all time.
Yes.
And then the second one is fun. Obsidian had to make it without even actually knowing what was going to happen in the first game, though. So it's kind of disjointed.
Really, I did not know that.
Yeah, and there's like whole sections of the game that like weren't included that were like on the disc, but like they never got built into the game. So like,
oh man,
modders have added like whole planets and shit that were in the data files.
That's insane.
Yeah,
I've got to find a way to check that out sometime.
Yeah, it's cool. It's interesting. So did you like the prequels when the prequels came out?
I did, but I was also 8 when they came out.
Right.
So I at the time, I was a fan of Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, that's not. See, I was 12 when Phantom Menace came out. I don't remember hating him though.
No, I don't remember hating him. And as I got older, obviously he got a little bit more annoying.
Yeah, he's terrible.
But yeah, I never really hated him. I always wondered why people were hating it, and then I recently got a good look at it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that might be why.
I will stand by like 1 and 2 being these kind of odd films that I enjoy but don't love. But I think Episode 3 is right on up there with the original trilogy in terms of like excellent Star Wars films.
I do think there's a lot of good stuff about 3. Just as far as story, the only problem I have is that they kind of make Anakin unredeemable to the point where it just has him killing a bunch of little kids.
Right.
And you kind of picture Darth Vader, like he goes, like you picture him going out to actually kill Jedi, like on his own, instead of not younglings.
There were children on Alderaan. Probably like a billion of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Probably. But I would like to picture him actually going after like actual Jedi Knights and hunting them down himself, instead of, just killing a bunch of kids and then having the clones just take out.
He was manipulated by Palpatine, man. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's completely fine. He can repent there at the last second.
Yeah.
And then he can still go to Force blue glowy Jedi heaven with all those kids that he killed.
So do you prefer Hayden or do you prefer?
I really like Hayden, actually.
Okay. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, really love Hayden. I actually prefer the end scene from Return of the Jedi, the updated one where they added him.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, that's controversial. Yeah. People just started cutting this shit off like right now. They're like, no, we're
no, done with this. No.
How about Clone Wars, Rebels, any of that stuff?
I want to start, and watching these shows, the special Mandalorian and Boba Fett, made me really want to start getting into this, into the animated series.
Right.
But there's so much of it.
Yeah.
There's so much. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to take forever.
So with Clone Wars, I highly recommend, if you don't just have forever, to look up a filler guide, because most stuff, I would say skip to episode 10 immediately. The first 9 episodes, garbage. Don't watch the movie. The movie is...
that's why I never even started watching it, because I missed out on the original theatrical movie.
And the movie was terrible. Like,
really?
It was one of the worst things I've ever seen, yeah.
How did the rest of it take off?
It just did. Yeah. I mean, George Lucas was like, fuck it, we're just going to do it. So
I do remember before Clone Wars came out, there was that miniseries, of 2D miniseries of kind of in the same kind of area. That the art style and everything is based off of, but and just made 3D.
Yeah, it was I can't remember the guy's name. People are dropping off now again too. But there was like the 5-minute shorts on Cartoon Network.
Yeah,
and it was tremendous.
I love those.
The Mace Windu episode, unbelievable, man.
I want to go back on Disney Plus and watch them again because they're on there.
Yeah, they are. I love the kill where he pulls all the screws out of the droid and he just like collapses.
Yeah,
tremendous.
Mace Windu's the man.
Oh,
wish they
yeah.
would bring him back.
Yeah, absolutely. So fast forward to Mandalorian, because that's all the Star Wars there is. We didn't skip anything.
No. No?
Not at all. So we get to Mandalorian, man. So what did you think about it when it first came out?
Oh, it was. I liked it. Obviously, it was just like definitely something different to other than just your normal Jedi stuff,
Right.
you know. And
Can we get to that point where like there's an enjoyable like protagonist that's not a Force user, you know?
yeah, that's not having a jet and a lightsaber in his hand, you know.
Right. Even though he did get one.
Yeah. I mean,
But it's
a
cool
cool
lightsaber.
lightsaber.
Yeah, it's a cool ass lightsaber. So we get season 1 of Mando, we get season 2, we get Boba Fett. What did you think about when Luke shows up at the end of season 2?
Oh, that was pretty unexpected. I did not think they were actually going to pull the trigger on that. I wasn't sure if at the end it was going to be like kind of like one of the Jedis from Rebels or something like that, because I didn't know what was, you know, the ending to all that, so I didn't know if some of them were still alive or what was going on with that. Obviously Ahsoka.
It's like Ahsoka would have been the best person to train you if it wasn't going to be Luke. So it's like, who is it? And the thing I love about that twist, I just realized we have like the mortal enemies here on the table. He's drinking a Coke. I got a Pepsi, a cherry Pepsi here.
Or doppelgangers for life.
That's right. Mortal enemies here. Yeah, but not to derail us any further than we already will.
Yeah.
But I love that twist because it only made sense for it to be Luke, right? But you were just like, well, they're not going to fucking get Luke Skywalker.
No, like, there's no way in hell. Like, they're not going to have him. It's like, oh, fuck, it is. Goddamn. Like, there's the glove.
And this was the scene that we should have gotten. Like this was the thing that the sequels, like, denied us, right?
Yeah.
We all wanted to see, like, badass fucking modern-day Luke.
Just tearing shit up.
And we never got anything kind of even remotely good.
No, we got just kind of him just standing there.
Yeah, so this gave us like what we all really wanted.
Yeah, and it was definitely the Luke power fantasy that everyone's been asking for, and that, well, for whatever reason they didn't give us in the movies, but
yeah. So
just got him. Just was awesome just to see him wreck house.
Yeah. So you know, Mando and Grogu, like, they are so popular, and there was this kind of narrative online during the sequels where it's like, oh, you know, the fan base only wants the nostalgia, they don't want the new characters, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's not the problem. And then Mando comes out, and instantly, like, you got it on. There's Grogu everything. He's everywhere.
Oh, God. Yes.
He's on. There's a Mando and a Grogu all over these shelves. There's the bobblehead over there.
Giant bobblehead.
I mean,
it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. We got
making
it
all of the money.
Not only that, but they didn't keep. They kept the merchandise a secret. They kept,
and everybody was looking for it, and like
they cost themselves millions and millions of dollars to keep this under wraps that the child was going to be in there, and. Let me tell you, I mean, that's a tremendous thing for a company to do. They never do that.
Oh, they know they were going to make that back.
Oh, sure. But like, if you think about it from like a corporate boardroom type scenario, it's like, of course we're going to have the toys ready. Everybody's going to love this, and it's like, the toys always leak out before the movies.
Yeah,
it was a smart choice.
I think probably Favreau and Filoni probably had stepped in like, no, do not.
Absolutely.
Do not.
They were so popular, they took over Boba Fett's show. Mm-hmm. And it's really funny because originally people were like, oh, we want a Boba Fett show, we want a Boba Fett show. And then it's like, Mandalorian comes out and they're like, this is not going to be about Boba Fett. It's going to be about a different bounty hunter. And everybody was like, oh. And then everybody fell in love with these characters. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, Boba Fett's going to get his own show now. And then they're like, hey, we're here.
Yeah. And they're like, we want the other one back.
Yeah. So he shows up, Grogu shows up, Ahsoka shows up.
Because it's funny, Luke. I remember them talking about, or rumors of there being a Boba Fett movie.
Yeah.
And then them saying, oh, well, now it's going to be a series. No, it's not about Boba Fett. It's just the Mandalorian. Like,
Well, the interesting thing is like Mandalorian is really what George Lucas always wanted. This is like what his vision was, because them being able to film in the volume and have this giant stage and like be able to put all the effects in and stuff ahead of time, and for the actors to be able to see the stuff there and everything. That's what his ultimate goal really was after the first 3 movies were done. It just took 40 years.
yeah, it's just the technology wasn't there.
Yeah, he tried to do it in 99, and you see how that...
Yeah, everything. Was it blue or green? Just everything, just sea.
Yeah.
And like, they don't have nothing to work with.
Yeah.
Which is why it kind of might feel the way it does.
It is. It definitely is. So so we're here. We're on this episode, season 3, episode 2, and this kind of took an unexpected turn for me because obviously we saw from the last episode that he's trying to bring IG-11 back, and
That went well.
11? 88. 11.
That's 11.
It's 11.
Yeah,
I always
88's
get them confused. 88's the actual murder bot.
Yeah.
11 is the well, he's a murder bot now too, but once he gets his memory circuit back, he'll be a not so murder bot.
Yeah.
So he goes to see Pelly, who is the mechanic that we've come to know and love over the last 3 years. What do you think about her character?
She's interesting. She's obviously she's like a little bit of comic relief. We learn how much of a scam artist she is.
I know, man. She's got shit going on with the Jawas.
like just ripping people off left and right. I'm like, this lady, how is she not getting caught?
Well, I mean, everybody just blames the Jawas, so that's probably why.
That's fair.
Everybody's like, oh, the Jawas stole all my shit.
Poor Jawas, and then they get shot and wrecked by everyone else. And
Mando disintegrated a few.
yeah, he did. Which I've been wondering if we're ever going to see that rifle back, but it doesn't look like we are.
I thought the rifle got broken.
Did it?
When they were fighting that beast or whatever.
Okay.
I have to go back
maybe.
though. That's 4 years ago.
Yeah.
I have to go back and look.
I've been kind of wondering, where is that badass rifle that he had that looked like a holiday special Boba Fett rifle?
Yeah. That shit's in the game too, in
Is
Galaxy
it?
Heroes, and it disintegrates. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, if he gets like the right conditions, he can like one shot.
I think they probably had the idea if he had that the whole time, it would be OP as shit. No one would, like, you wouldn't have any stakes. You can just disintegrate everything.
That's true. But he does have the strongest armor in the galaxy.
Yes, that's
and
true.
the fucking darksaber.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And a Force child. So
yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, he's pretty OP as it is.
yeah, but they still found a way, especially in this episode, to give him some threats.
That was interesting.
Yeah, man. So they end up with this astromech, weak sauce astromech.
Yes, R5D4.
Yeah, and they get to the planet, and dude, it was gorgeous when they were flying up on Mandalore.
Oh god, yeah, especially after just seeing it on an actually decent TV.
Yeah.
Instead of my old antique.
I want to address that, man. So, like, was this episode dark to you when you saw it originally?
It was. It was a little bit dark, but I also thought it was like the glare on my screen. So it was, not too bad, but I got what they were going for.
I don't want to shit on another publication, but I'm gonna. IGN gave this thing a 5.
I saw that.
And they were like, the whole episode is really dark, and I couldn't see what was going on. And I was
really?
like...
You gave it a 5 because of a...
Well,
lighting?
The way they described it is it was like Game of Thrones Season 8, which I know you haven't seen, but like... And that's to your credit, because you don't need that trauma.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, God, that's terrible. Why would they do that? And then I watched the episode, and you watched it just a minute ago on my TV. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I'm like, I saw their score after I already watched it. I'm like, really, a 5 because you thought it was a little dark? That just seems a little. But I take IGN's scoring with a whole fistful of salt to begin with. So
well, I think one thing that people forget, and this is kind of in IGN's defense, is like. It's not like them as a company reviewing something. Like, they have a bunch of different
it's someone's
people,
opinion.
And they all review different things. So, like, when I look at IGN, I have a couple people there that I trust their opinion on stuff. and if I see that it's their review, I'll go with it. And if not, then okay, and like I didn't look at the in-depth review. I try not to do that until after I've done this because I don't want to
you don't want to taint your own
right. But I saw the score on Facebook and I was like 5 for a Mandalorian episode, and they were like, "This is really dark. It's like the worst kind of Game of Thrones." And I was just like, so when I watched it and I was like, didn't have a hard time making out anything. I was like, whoever is reviewing this shit, IGN needs to buy them a fucking TV.
Yeah, or get someone else to do it.
Yeah, that actually might be
if they're
better.
just going to lower the score that much because of lighting, maybe you shouldn't be reviewing this.
Yeah, no thanks. So we get to Mandalore. We send the little janky astromech out there, the cowardice
So
astromech.
do you think he is the same one that's in the original Star Wars?
Well, I guess he could have had his motivator replaced. I mean, he is a droid.
Yeah, and he's always falling apart.
Yeah, and that's true. And I mean, they were on Tatooine, so it's entirely possible.
I think that's what I was thinking. He was a callback for.
Yeah, probably so. So yeah, I mean, they get him there. He gets wrecked almost immediately.
Yeah.
Grogu's like, I don't want the droid to die, and Mando's just like, oh, he's gonna be fine as soon as he disappears behind that rock, man.
Well, there he went.
Right, yeah. What did you think about these guys? I can't remember what Bo-Katan called them.
Dolomites?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
They were interesting. They reminded me kind of like Power Ranger villains.
Yeah,
or like
bit.
putties or something like that.
I like that their weapons were made out of the glass or whatever.
Is that what they were made of?
Yeah.
That makes sense now.
Yeah, it was like that green kind of glass that the surface is made out of.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. But these guys are clearly here as fodder for
Yes.
Mando and Grogu to wreck.
Jobbers. Yeah.
Yeah, and Bo-Katan later on. In the
Yes.
episode.
She wrecks the shit.
Oh yeah. Full tilt spoilers, by the way. If you're still here, I don't know why.
There
but
might be some spoilers. Maybe.
yeah, we already dropped a bunch, and there will be more stuff.
Yeah.
Just got to get it in there. So they go in here and they encounter like some straight up Horizon Zero Dawn level nonsense.
Yeah, it's some Dark Souls shit going on.
This thing almost reminded me of a maybe like a Grievous, but like the experiment went wrong.
Yeah, it was some gnarly shit that I've never seen in Star Wars ever.
It was so cool though.
Yeah, it was. I'm like, that's why I'm like, how do you give this a 5?
Yeah.
With this kind of cool, and the way it looks, like it looks believable.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, on a TV budget, they did this really cool thing. And the thing I like about this is, like, we've never seen anything like this. But it's still so Star Wars.
Yeah.
Like, that's one thing I really love about, like, Favreau and Filoni is, like, they will expand the universe without shitting on it, you know? And I think that's hard to do.
Yeah, it's instead of trying to do whatever Kennedy tried to do.
Just do some other shit and put Star Wars on it.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that is because they didn't have a plan.
Right.
And that's not a subject that we probably should get on at the moment.
Me, man. Anybody who's watching this show, they've probably heard me bitch about Kathleen Kennedy about 700 times. So it's probably a broken record at this point. So
yeah.
I didn't think very much of the sequels, folks, if that's not.
There was stuff, admittedly, there's stuff in there that I do like personally. There's some cool moments here and there, but also at the same time in those cool moments, they cowered it out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what makes me kind of like, I don't know.
There's no stakes.
Like, you had your chances to do something really cool, and then you just like, nah. We're just going to do this over here.
We're going to do something else. Yeah, I agree, yeah.
Go the safe route. I'm like, why did you even bother?
Yeah. And we're used to seeing Mando, like, kind of be this kind of lone gunslinger kind of deal, but, like, he gets wrecked and captured by this thing.
He's the distress, the princess in distress over there.
That armor won't save you from everything. I mean, he was getting crushed and bled.
Yeah, I saw that. They were, like, draining him for whatever he was about to happen.
I guess this thing like eats blood. He killed a bunch of Mandalorians, clearly.
Yeah. That's the only problem I had personally with this episode. Is I would personally give it a 8 and a 5 at the same time because I don't do well with horror movies.
I gotcha.
And I don't do well with jump scares. And this whole episode has several of them, and it got me so bad. Especially the one where the main one where he gets trapped like a giant bear. Yeah, that literally made me jump out of my chair.
It was out of nowhere. Yeah.
No.
And because of this actually kind of reminded me of a Clone Wars episode where like Mace Windu and Anakin are like, and some of the clones get like trapped in this like facility, and R2 has to take Anakin's ship and go get help, and it kind of reminded me of that, you know.
Yeah.
Except this time it was Grogu who was doing all the cool stuff.
And he was a little badass.
Yeah. Well, we learned a little over a week ago that he trained with Luke for 2 years.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, you had to have learned some stuff.
Yeah, and obviously him jumping around the way he does is as funny as it looks.
Yeah.
You can tell he's like, oh, okay, well, he can do some stuff.
Yeah.
And then you see the Dolomite jump out in front of him and like, oh shit, oh wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like he just
he came out like a badass too, man.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah. The only thing that I did not like the slip up here is like he jumps out of his pod into the ship and then they take off. But then when they get on Bo-Katan's ship later, he has the pod again, even though he left it on the planet.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. So.
Oh man. You know what? Maybe it took off with him after. You know, it just followed the ship.
Or he just has a bunch of spares on him.
That might.
He's
work
just like, oh, this is my Wednesday. I'll pull out another one. I'll come back and get that one later. So we actually see him go and visit Bo-Katan here, and it was cool because they set this up because on the way in, he's like telling him about the different planets in the Mandalore system. Yeah. And like this is also how like he knew where to go and all that stuff. So and the astromech too. So like it didn't make it. They didn't do what I think the sequels would have done, or like the Obi-Wan show, where they would have been just had him fly the damn ship there on his own.
Yeah, not bother to explain.
Yeah, and that would have driven me nuts. Like I would have been.
It's small details that help. You kind of believe, like believability,
right? That this could actually happen, and you're keeping like the characters competent at the same time, and I thought that was good. So Mando's in trouble. Grogu goes off to get Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan's like, I thought I told you I was done with this shit. Mm-hmm. She comes out.
And she doesn't even know he's not in the ship.
Right, yeah.
Well, I told your bitch ass to leave me alone.
Yeah. Sees Grogu in the ship, and then she immediately is like,
oh, shit.
Yeah, she knows where they were going. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, shit, what happened? Mm-hmm. They get the location. If you haven't seen Clone Wars or Rebels, you're not super familiar with Bo-Katan then.
No, I've seen her in passing, but that's why I'm like, I really need to watch this because I really want to get more familiar with her.
Yeah, there's all the Mandalore stuff in Clone Wars. It's tremendous.
It seems like it.
Yeah, it's really good. And so seeing Bo-Katan here, hearing her kind of talk about like her family and how she ruled and everything for a little while, and like her, her whole arc with the Darksaber. But I loved here that we kind of got to see her actually like kick some ass.
Yeah, and that she actually knows how to use the Darksaber pretty well. I'm like, well, I guess that's a little bit of a backstory into Clone Wars or Rebels rather of her using it there.
She had it for a while, and I love that. Even now we kind of see Din. He struggles with it a little bit. Yeah, he's past where he's like cutting his own armor and shit with it, but like he's still kind of he's not proficient.
Yeah.
Whereas Bo-Katan, when she picked it up, I was like, oh, she knows how to use it.
She has no problem using it. And has way of not.
Yeah, and I love how like this thing crawled back into like the giant spider body.
Yeah, that was creepy.
Yeah, and then we got to see her kind of do the little mini boss fight with it or whatever.
Yeah, she didn't seem to have much problems with it.
No, she wrecked it. Yeah,
It's like, no, this limb's gone, this limb's gone, this limb's gone, this limb's gone. All right, what are you gonna do now?
and it was interesting too because like as they get further into the mines,
Mhm.
I was just like, a lot of us thought that this season's arc would be this, like him going back to the mines. But now it's just like, okay, it's going to happen in this episode.
Yeah. And it's just like, this is happening a lot faster than I thought it would be.
Yeah.
So what is the rest of the season going to have? This is going to be insane.
Yeah, I loved the pacing of this, like where we kind of got to it and it wasn't all this build up. And she's like, you want to go to the mines? I'll take you right now. They go down there. She reads the little inscription. And this was cool because, you know, when she was a kid, she had like her little coronation as a princess and all this other stuff. And he goes to step into the water and gone.
Yeah, I don't know if something grabbed him or he just sank like a rock.
I'm thinking that he got pulled. And she was shocked by this.
Yeah.
Because she's like, there's nothing in there. I've been here my whole life or whatever.
There was something in there.
Yeah. and it was huge. And as we understand, that is a mythosaur.
That's mythosaur. Yeah, I just recently learned about that. I did a little bit of research. And I'm like, what? And when I first saw it, I'm like, well, who is this Cthulhu-looking motherfucker? Like, this thing is huge. And I'm like, oh, that's the Mandalorian symbol alive. And what's weird is that I was just before thinking, I'm like, seeing that symbol, I'm like, is that based off an actual creature? Because I always just thought of it as a symbol.
Yeah.
You know, and then learned about like, oh, this thing, like, there's, like, that's a skull of a creature. Like that. Yeah. It's not just a cool looking, you know, emblem to have on your arm. It's just, and this is a massive, massive kaiju creature that is apparently nothing to mess with.
And I don't know how long this one's been down here, but I'm thinking it's got to be thousands of years old. Maybe the original one that the original Mandalore tamed.
Yeah, probably, because apparently they're supposed to be all extinct, right?
Right.
And yeah, that's the only thing I can think of because, good Lord.
Yeah. and it kind of let them go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like.
I mean, had it wanted to kill them, I think it could have.
I don't know if these things are supposed to be evil or just more beast-like. Do they have a sentient type of thinking, or it's hard to tell at this point.
And what's interesting too is like if you look at like the trailers and stuff, I think we've seen almost every single thing that was in the trailers just about already in the first 2 episodes. So that tells me that we have no idea where they're going.
Yeah, it seems like they were very, very careful on what they put in the trailers.
There's 2 things we haven't seen yet. One of them, there's a shot in the trailers where like a lot of Mandalorians are like dropping out of a ship. Mm. We haven't seen that yet. And then there's a scene where a bunch of TIE fighters are chasing Mando and his ship, and we haven't seen that yet. But I think just about everything else, we've already seen it. So we really don't know where they're going now. But the fact that this mythosaur is still down here, I think that's going to have some like far-reaching kind of consequences.
Can I just say the name mythosaur kills me. Really? It's almost like unobtainium to me. It's just like it's on the same
as bad as unobtainium.
No, not quite, but it's just like y'all couldn't come up with something like mythosaur. I get it. It's a giant, Godzilla kaiju, but it's a little on the nose for me.
I think that was the thing. That was the thing from the like Legends canon, like the universe that they just kind of brought over. Lots of the Mandalorian stuff.
I guess that makes sense.
Came from that.
Mm-hmm. That makes a lot of sense now.
So, as far as Mandalore, man, like, what do you want to see happen here, like with the planet? Because to me, like, I don't want to see Mando in charge. Like nobody's.
No, he's not the in charge like king type.
Yeah.
But I do think that is it just me, or like I don't know if it's just like growing up with so many pop culture movies that just tend to do the same thing. But there is some almost like a couple tension between Bo-Katan and Din. Like I don't know if there's got to be a lot of people shipping them.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, there's some couple bickering. It's almost like they were old married couple and that got divorced. Like when he pulled up, I told you I'd leave me alone. You know,
there's definitely at a minimum some camaraderie there.
Yeah,
it may go into the romantic.
I'm thinking they might go in that direction, but it's hard to tell. Like, and have them be like this Mandalorian power couple.
That's interesting. I definitely would love to see Bo-Katan kind of as the new ruler of the planet. Mm-hmm. But I guess we're just gonna have to see how things pan out. But I think it would be good for her arc.
It'd be interesting to see if they do go that route, how they're gonna their different ideals of how to be a Mandalorian and their different factions that they belong to and all that.
It's gonna be interesting. For the rest of the season, are we going to see more Luke? Are we going to see more Ahsoka? Are they going to build into the Ahsoka show? All these questions out there,
Are we going to see Din's face again?
I would imagine so.
Are we going to see Pascal?
I think so. I think we will. And we were actually talking about earlier, it's crazy that right now the main two things we're doing on this show, both Pedro Pascal-led products. Although Last of Us thankfully ends on Sunday and I can stop doing 2 of these a week. It has been a blast, but it's been...
Poor man.
it's hard, man, to try to find time to get it all done.
And then working full-time.
Yeah. So, what are you going to rate this one out of 10, my friend?
Oh, man. I'd probably give it around maybe 7.5.
Okay.
Taking off points because it scared the shit out of me, and I don't like that. I just don't do well with that, and just the whole time just wondering if something else is going to pop out, and yeah.
I think I'm gonna sit at an 8.
Okay.
I enjoyed it. I really like the fact that they make the episode length match what they have to say, what the story is. I've always really loved that about this show. A lot of times they leave me wanting more, which is what you want.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite good. I didn't think it was the most amazing thing ever, but there were a couple hiccups here and there, but
they're telling the story that they want to tell.
Yeah, and there's
no real much of filler to be had.
Right. I mean, we only get 8 episodes, so they got no time for that shit. Well, man, next week we're gonna have some more Mandalorian. It'll be interesting to see where they go.
I'm very much looking forward to that.
Especially now that there's a giant mythosaur.
Yeah, I'm wondering. I'm wondering what's going to go on with that. Are we going to see that again, or are they just going to kind of have that put in the background, and then they're handling some other stuff?
Yeah.
For the time being.
Yeah. We'll find out on this coming Wednesday. Well, you got anything else before we wrap this one up, man?
I want a Shadows of the Empire show, miniseries, movie, something. I want to see Dash Rendar.
Oh yeah.
I want to see the giant shoulder pads. I that's what I want. I don't know why they haven't done it. I don't want to know why anybody hasn't championed for that. But
hey, they're about to announce some new stuff, so maybe that Taika Waititi movie will be that.
Sir. Sir. No, please don't put that out in there.
I need them to cancel all that shit.
Yeah, I think they have canceled something for Feige and
The Feige one's not going forward, and the Rogue Squadron's not going forward.
I forgot Feige was even doing one.
Feige needs to stay focused on Marvel and get that house cleaned up.
Yeah, that's. He seems to be getting stretched thin there a little bit.
Yeah. This is something I talked about last weekend, and I've said it a few times. It's like Marvel and Star Wars have the opposite problem. In Marvel, the problem is that Kevin Feige, there's so much going on, he can't touch everything.
Mm.
The problem at Star Wars is that Kathleen Kennedy can touch everything.
Yeah, and trying to keep her away.
Right. So the more shit they have going on, the less stuff she can touch, and the better it is. Like Favreau and Filoni are running this shit, and that's why it's all good. Mm-hmm. And I was saying the other day, like, when a new Star Wars project comes out, just show me the credits. Show me where Dave Filoni is in the credits. If it's up near the top, I'm in. If it's like tucked into the bottom, I'm probably going to pass.
Why can't we have Filoni take Kennedy's place?
That is exactly what
I don't know if he wants that kind of responsibility.
I would prefer like Favreau to take her place, and then Filoni has like Favreau's current job, and then
be his right hand man. Just like, you handle all the lore and story stuff, I'll handle production, writing, and all that.
Because Dave Filoni is the chief expert on Star Wars at this point.
Yes,
even more than George Lucas. I mean, he is the guy.
Yeah, it seems like no one would know anything about the lore more than he would.
No, he's the GOAT when it comes to Star Wars. So, well, this has been fun, man.
Yeah, man. I had a blast.
Well, everybody, I want you to check out Tavern Notice Board. This man was on that today, and he's been right here. I'll definitely be looking forward to having you back. Maybe we can get you on for another Mandalorian episode this season. If not, we'll find something we're both interested in.
I definitely would love that. That would be great.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Well, that being said, catch us on Monday. We will be doing Podcast Assembled. We will be reviewing The Last of Us, the season finale. I'm sure there's all sorts of trauma waiting for us inside of that hour of television. But until then, this has been an Involved Review.